Welcome to the Make a Baby podcast. I'm Carolina Sotomayor, your podcast host and expert Reiki womb healer. Over the past 6 years, I've had the honor of helping over 75 babies come into the world through the power of Reiki. I believe that healing is not meant to be done alone, nor should it be. On this podcast, you'll hear amazing Reiki guided meditations, empowering healing tips, and taboo topics with a focus on inclusivity and representation. Are you ready for these conversations? I am. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Make a Baby podcast. I'm Carolina Sotomayor, your Reiki womb healer and podcast host. This is episode 87, 7 ways to handle fear and fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, and motherhood. But before we dive in, I want to thank you for all the ratings and reviews you've been leaving. And I wanted to invite you to send me a DM on any podcast topics you want me to do an episode on, and also how this resonated with you today. Today is a topic that is common, super common, and I don't know a single person that I have encountered or have helped that this has not happened to. Who doesn't have fear? We all have fear, and it's going to come up. So these are 7 ways that you can handle it and approach fear. So when you feel fear, the first thing I want you to do is, what is the fear exactly? I want you to name it. I want you to define it. I want you to clarify it. What is it? Is it a fear of not being a good enough mom? Are you fearful of never getting pregnant? Are you fearful that it's not going to work out in your favor? Are you fearful that you may not get the house you're putting an offer on? Are you fearful you're not going to get the promotion? That's important to understand and define what it is. Identify what it is that you're feeling. What is that fear exactly? The second thing I want you to think of is, where is the fear coming from? And most people don't even reach it this far. They get stuck with, what is the fear exactly? The fear of, and defining it. So where is the fear coming from? Most people don't want to go down this road because it gets deep fast. Does this come from social media? Does this come from a social media post? Does this come from a lived experience? Is this from your unhealed inner child? Is this from a point of view that you received from a friend? Is this from your parents? Is this ancestral? Where does this fear come from? Is this been ingrained in your culture? Is this a common belief within people in your family? Okay, so the next thing is, what can be done to remove this fear in your life? Now, this is a tricky question because sometimes it can be removed from your life physically and sometimes it can't. For example, depending on what the fear is, fear of getting an offer on a house accepted. Like, if that's not going to happen, have you done everything right? Have you written a letter? Have you done everything that the realtor has asked? Maybe you're trying to sell your house. Have you done all the painting you need to do? Is there a physical action or decision you can make to mitigate that fear that can remove it from your life? Can you learn a new skill? Can you learn a new subject? Can you set a boundary? Can you have a conversation with someone? If the fear cannot be removed from your life from taking an action to physically remove it and eliminate it, then I have another solution for you. But we're going to have to do some exercises before that. So in some cases where it cannot be removed, it might be something like, your fear is that maybe you have one child and you want to give them a sibling, but your fear is that you'll never be able to give them a sibling. So is there anything physically right now that you can do? You're probably doing all your nutrition. You're probably doing everything you can to get pregnant. You're doing everything your doctor says. Maybe you're a nutritionist too. You're doing Reiki probably. So you're doing all the things possible. So there's nothing physical you can do to remove that. But there is something with your mindset and with healing. So let's go into that now. So I want you to define 2 things with that fear. What is the worst case scenario if that fear comes true? And what is the best case scenario if the fear does not come true? And I'm going to insert here. If you are on my Instagram, then you'll know what the code word what to do with this code word. Code word is banana bread. Now, with the worst case scenario, I want to know the specifics. What has happened? How are you handling it? How are you moving through it? Best case scenario, what are the specifics there? Make a vision board. Make an affirmation list. Do affirmation cards. Go to Canva and make a new phone background. What can you do to focus and manifest best case scenario? Because what's going to happen is the more that we worry about the fear, the more that we're inviting the universe to manifest more of what we're devotedly in our mind speaking to. We don't want to be devoted to our fear. We don't want to be devoted to worst case scenario. But through looking at both of them, we invite peace in. And also logically, when we write it out or maybe we draw it out, it's going to allow our mind to say, maybe this is not as scary as it's supposed to be. Maybe it's not as scary as it was in my mind. And this best case scenario can be fully thought out, not just the worst, but the best case scenario. And then you have something you can attach yourself to, something you can focus on. So with that, then we start to accept. The next thing is mindset. What are you going to do when this fear comes up again, or any fear comes up? Do you have a plan in place? Because life's still going to happen. We still have to live life. So what are you going to do the next time you have a fear? You want to make yourself feel safe. So now we need to put in a plan in place for steps you can do when you feel triggered with fear. That can look like igniting your senses so you can have a coming home to your body experience. Because if you ignite your senses, that's going to allow you to ground yourself and your energy and your emotions and your thought in your body more instead of being paralyzed in fear. You could be using your scent. So you could use like essential oils, and you have a safe roller you can do with a carrier oil. Maybe you're going to drink something. So for me, I have a lavender roller I can put lavender oil on my wrists. I have a water bottle with cucumber water. It's my favorite water bottle. I have a blanket that is my favorite texture. It's my favorite blanket. And whenever I feel fear, I go to a certain spot on my couch and I process. And I have my favorite things there. My water for taste. I have my blanket for texture, for touch. And that's allowing me to move more into my body and ground myself and release the fear. Lastly, by doing this, we have the ability to release it, to recognize it and break the fear pattern. If you're out and about, I recommend using breath work and saying the words, I am safe, 10 to 12 times, and doing a deep breath in out through your nose and out through your mouth in between, I am safe. So let's say that together and see how you feel. I am safe. Breathe in deep, in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. I'm going to say this over and over again, and just notice how your body transitions. Maybe your shoulders will drop and your jaw might lessen. I am safe. Deep breath. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Now, if you do that 10 to 12 times, you'll see your shoulders will drop and your body will relax. And that's what you wanted to do. So what can you do to feel safe when fear comes up? You can create a ritual, or you can do breath work and say affirmations that work for you. It could be very simple. It doesn't have to be an overcomplicated thing. And recognize that emotion, as they come up, only lasts between 60 and 90 seconds. You can breathe through the fear. So we can release the emotion as it comes up. We were taught to stuff it, but I want you to release it. So we did a healing tonight in the Make a Baby membership on this exactly, how to handle fear and ways to release it. And then we did a healing so that we are connected to our spirit babies, our inner childs, reconciled those, and that we can release all the things that are pushing our fears to be healed so that we have less of them. So I'm not going to lie, life is going to happen. So fear is going to come up and it's natural, but how you move through it is important. And you don't have to suffer in this life for long periods. We have tools now where we can release stress. We have the ability to move through things in a higher vibration. So we can get back to being our energetic self. So we can get back to our energy being owned by us and sovereign by us. So if you have questions, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to hear from you. I do have a present for you, and I want you to go to the show notes. I want you to download the Womb to Dream Connection Sleep Meditation for connecting with your spirit baby in the show notes. This is the favorite Reiki meditation inside the membership, the Make a Baby membership. And while you have your phone open, I want you again to send me a DM. I want to hear from you. It'd be my favorite thing. It would make my entire day to know what you thought about this episode and what you want to hear more of. And go ahead and share this show with your friends who are trying to conceive and let them know what's going on here in the pod and invite them to tune in with you and let them know that Reiki can help them conceive. Until then, let the Reiki flow, and I'll see you back here next time. Feeling hopeless in your fertility journey, fearful that you'll never become pregnant? The Make a Baby membership was created just for you, using the exact methods of Reiki that helped me conceive my son. We've helped over 75 babies come into this world by removing blockages from the womb and body with our powerful Reiki techniques. Visit carolinasotomayor.com to join the Make a Baby membership today.